No-fly list. The no-fly list is perhaps the most straightforward yet severe of the government's watch lists. It is a definitive list of individuals who are completely barred from boarding any commercial aircraft that flies into, out of, or over the United States. Maintained by the Federal Bureau of Investigation's Terrorist Screening Center, the list works by preventing airlines from issuing a boarding pass to anyone who matches a name on it. The exact criteria for inclusion are classified, but it's reserved for people the government has a reasonable suspicion to believe are a threat to civil aviation or national security. This isn't the same as being selected for extra screening at the security checkpoint. That's a separate, less restrictive list. If you are on the no-fly list, your journey ends at the ticket counter. You simply will not be allowed to fly, regardless of your destination or reason for travel, making it one of the most potent tools used to ground a suspected threat. Selectee list. Ever tried to check in for a flight, only for the app to refuse and tell you to see an agent at the desk? You might have encountered the selectee list, a watch list that doesn't stop you from flying, but guarantees you extra attention. Think of it as a middle ground. Individuals on this list have raised enough concern to warrant a closer look, but not enough to be barred from air travel entirely like those on the no-fly list. When you finally get your boarding pass, you'll likely see the letters SSS printed on it, which stands for Secondary Security Screening Selection. This triggers a mandatory, more intensive screening process at the security checkpoint, involving everything from a full bag search and a thorough pat-down to explosive trace detection tests on your hands and belongings. If you find yourself consistently selected, it could be a case of mistaken identity, which you can try to resolve through the Department of Homeland Security's redress program. Terrorist Screening Database. Imagine a single unified master list of known or suspected terrorists, and you have the Terrorist Screening Database. Managed by the Federal Bureau of Investigation's Terrorist Screening Center, this database is the government's central hub, consolidating threat information from intelligence agencies and law enforcement into one place. This isn't just about airports. While the famous no-fly list is a small, highly restrictive subset of this database, its reach is far wider. A customs agent checking passports at the border, a State Department official reviewing a visa application, or even a local police officer running a license plate during a traffic stop can all receive an alert if a person's name matches an entry. The critical thing to understand is that inclusion is based on a standard of reasonable suspicion, not a criminal conviction, meaning an individual doesn't have to be charged with a crime to be placed on the list. Foreign terrorist organizations. The designation of a foreign terrorist organization is one of the U.S. government's most powerful tools for disrupting international threats. Managed by the Secretary of State, this list identifies non-U.S. groups that engage in terrorist activity threatening American citizens or national security. To be listed, a group must be foreign, have committed or intend to commit acts of terrorism, and pose a direct danger to the United States. Think of well-known examples like Al-Qaeda, ISIS, or Boko Haram. Once a group is designated, the consequences are immediate and severe. It becomes a federal crime for any U.S. person to provide them with money, weapons, or any form of material support. American financial institutions must freeze any of their assets they hold, and known members of the organization are barred from entering the country. Ultimately, the goal is to financially cripple and politically isolate these groups, cutting off the resources they need to operate. Specially designated nationals. Imagine a global blacklist, not for travel, but for money. This is the Specially Designated Nationals List, a powerful tool managed by the U.S. Department of the Treasury to financially isolate threats to the nation. The list isn't just for one type of criminal. It includes a wide range of targets, from terrorist financiers and international drug kingpins to Russian oligarchs and companies caught helping sanctioned states like North Korea. Once an individual or organization is added, the consequences are severe. Any assets they hold within U.S. jurisdiction are instantly frozen, and no American citizen, bank, or company is legally allowed to do any business with them. It's a powerful non-military weapon, effectively kicking bad actors out of the U.S. financial system and crippling their ability to fund their operations. Interpol Red Notice. An Interpol Red Notice is essentially the world's most high-profile wanted poster, but for the digital age. It's a global alert requested by a member country to ask law enforcement worldwide to locate and provisionally arrest a person pending extradition or similar legal action. For example, if the mastermind of a massive financial fraud scheme flees to another continent, their home country can ask for a red notice. It's crucial to understand, however, that this is not an international arrest warrant. Interpol cannot compel any country to arrest the person. It's a request for cooperation, flagging an individual so if they try to board a plane or cross a border, their passport will trigger an alert for local authorities. While this system is vital for catching fugitives accused of serious crimes like murder or terrorism, it has also drawn criticism for being abused by some nations to persecute political opponents or journalists who have fled abroad.